This is the continuation of part 1. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, go watch it right now. You're missing out. When I was quiet enough, when I had stopped resisting, I couldn't tell where my thoughts ended and it began. Silence stopped feeling empty. The realization came to me one evening as I sat on the edge of my bed with the lights off, hands folded loosely on my lap, waiting. Nothing for anything specific, just waiting. The apartment had grown quieter over the weeks, or maybe I had. I stopped filling the space with noise. The television stayed off. Music felt intrusive now, too emotional, too unpredictable. Sound invited thoughts. Silence allowed them to settle. I breathed in through my nose, out through my mouth, slowly measured. I learned that rhythm in therapy, a grounding exercise. The thought came gently, as it often did now. You're calmer this way. I nodded. Yes, I whispered. That was the first time I answered without fear. Mornings became easier, not happier, easier. Decisions no longer carried weight. What to wear, what to eat, whether to respond to messages. The hesitation that used to knot my stomach loosened, then disappeared entirely. Thoughts arrived pre-packaged, complete, efficient. Wear the grey shirt. Skip breakfast. Don't reply. And I didn't. It felt like relief. Choice had always exhausted me. I had never admitted that out loud, not even to myself. The endless branching paths of consequences, the quiet terror of picking wrong. Now, there was no wrong. There was simply what came next. My therapist noticed the change before I did. You seem lighter, she said one afternoon, studying me carefully. I shrugged. I feel focused. She tapped her pen against the notebook. Less anxious? Yes, that was true. The anxiety had receded like tide pulling back, leaving smooth sand behind, clean, undisturbed, too undisturbed. And the thoughts? She asked. I hesitated, not because I didn't know the answers, because something inside me warned against sharing it. Not here, the thought suggested. This place isn't safe. I don't feel overwhelmed by them anymore, I said instead. Her eyes lingered on my face longer than usual. That night, I realized something had changed. My memories felt edited, not erased, refined. The accident no longer hurt to think about. The sharp edges were gone, replaced with something distant and dull, like a story I had heard once rather than lived. I tried to summon the pain deliberately. I couldn't. Why can't I feel it anymore? The answer came like a hand smoothing wrinkled fabric. You don't need it. But it was mine. A pause. So was the fear. I dreamed of my childhood home. Not the whole thing, just my bedroom. The way moonlight spilled across the carpet. The soft whir of ceiling fan. The comfort of knowing someone was awake when I wasn't. In the dream, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening. Are you there? I asked. Yes, came the answer. Not a voice, a presence, warm, protective. I woke up smiling. That terrified me. The notebook filled faster now. I don't remember writing in it anymore. I'd wake up and find new pages filled. The careful writing, neat and precise, documenting my days with unsettling accuracy. He avoided the call. He felt relief when decision was made. He is learning to let go. I traced the words with my finger. He. A thought surfaced immediately. Distance helps clarity. My chest tightened. What are you writing about me like that? Another pause. Longer this time. Because you are ready to see yourself from the outside. At the next session, my therapist leaned forward in her chair. You didn't mention last week, she said. I frowned. Mention what? She glanced at her notes. You are going to talk about a presence. You stopped mid sentence. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. The space where words should have been felt, smooth, blank. I don't remember that, I said. Her jaw tightened. You felt it close, she continued. That it finished your thoughts. I felt a flicker of irritation. That sounds dramatic. She blinked. You used that word, she said quietly. Close. Something inside me shifted, a subtle tightening. She's interfering. The thought wasn't mine. I knew that. And still I agreed. That night, the silence welcomed me faster than ever. I didn't fight it. I sat on the floor, back against the couch, eyes closed, breathing slow. The thoughts gathered around me like a familiar weight. You're doing well, it told me. Am I? I asked. You're functioning, you're calm, you're protected. Protected. The word echoed. What are you protecting me from? This time, the answer wasn't gentle, it was honest. Yourself. My hand curled into fist. No, I said. I don't hurt people. Another pause. You try not to. Images surface then, unbidden. Sharp words spoken in moments of anger. Silence used as punishment. Choices avoided until they hurt someone else instead. Small harms accumulated. I didn't mean to, I whispered. Intention doesn't change impact. The thought settled deeper after that. Not heavier, more rooted. I started forgetting conversations midway through them, not losing track, losing ownership. I'd hear myself speaking, calm and measured, saying things I hadn't planned. Friends commented that I seemed different, better. I stopped seeing them shortly after. It felt unnecessary. One evening, standing in the kitchen, I couldn't remember the last decision I had made on my own. Not clearly, not completely. The realization brought a spike of panic, sharp, sudden. From the first time in weeks, fear surfaced. The response was immediate, easy. The fear dissolved, just like that. I sat against the counter, breath shaky. Don't do that, I said. Don't take things without asking. The answer came softer than expected. You never asked me to stop. That was true, and it wasn't. Later, lying in bed, I tried something dangerous. I focused, pushed. I searched for the edges of my own thought, for something unshared, for something that was only mine. The silence pressed in, the silence stirred. Why are you pushing me away? I need to know who I am without you. The response carried something new. Not anger, not fear, something like sadness. I don't know who you are without me. That broke something open inside my heart. Then we figure it out together, I said. Another pause. That isn't how this works. I slept deeply that night. No dreams, no images, just blackness. Comforting. When I woke up, the notebook lay open beside me, a fresh page. The careful handwriting waited. It read, He believes there is still a choice. Below it, another line had been added, smaller, almost hesitant. There isn't. I decided to lie, not to anyone else, to it. That decision felt enormous, dangerous, like stepping onto thin ice while pretending it was solid ground. I didn't announce it, then challenge it directly. I simply held something back. A thought, a small one. The next morning, as I stood in the bathroom, brushing my teeth, staring at my own eyes in the mirror, the familiar guidance came. Don't look too closely. I did anyway. The face staring back at me looked normal. Tired, maybe. Paler than usual. But something about that expression felt rehearsed. Like a mask worn long enough to forget what was underneath. I finished brushing and rinsed the sink. And I didn't think anything else, not on purpose. I waited. The presence stirred, subtle but immediate. What are you doing? I swallowed. Nothing, I said casually. Just thinking. Another pause. Then why can't I hear it? My heart rate spiked. You can't hear what? The air felt tighter, like a room sealed too quickly. You're holding something away from me. There it was. Confirmation. The realization hit harder than fear ever had. It couldn't read everything. Not automatically, not without permission. I hadn't been invaded. I had been accommodating. I spent the rest of the day practicing silence inside silence, letting thoughts surface and pass without engaging, without offering them up. It was exhausting, like holding a door shut against the pressure you can't see. The presence didn't disappear, but it grew restless. At my therapy session, I said nothing about it. I let the silence stretch. My therapist watched me carefully. You seem distracted, she said. I'm fine. That wasn't a lie. It was deflection. She leaned back in her chair. I need to ask you something difficult. I nodded. Have you been writing in a notebook during sessions? My stomach dropped. No. She reached into her drawer and pulled something out. The notebook. My notebook. Open. My handwriting stared back at me. Only it wasn't mine. Not entirely. These were written while you were sitting in that chair, she said quietly, talking to me. I stared at the page. It read, she's asking the wrong question. She believes she can interrupt the process. She will try to remove me. I couldn't breathe. I didn't write that. I know, she said. Your hands never moved. The presence reacted instantly. You shouldn't have let her see that. My jaw clenched. You did this, I thought, not me. The response was calm. We did. No, I whispered. You did. The therapist's eye widened slightly. Who are you talking to? Because for the first time, the presence hesitated. I need you to listen to me. My therapist said carefully. Whatever this is, it's not a coping mechanism. It's disassociation. It's organized, intentional. She paused. It has a voice. The presence pressed closer, heavier than it had ever felt. She's trying to separate us. That's the point, I snapped. My voice echoed in the small room, louder than I intended. I stood abruptly. I need to leave. She didn't stop me. That scared me more than if she had. Outside, the city felt unreal, too bright, too loud. The presence recoiled slightly, overwhelmed by the noise. I seized the moment. Why can't you stand this? I thought, sharp and focused. A delay than the truth. Because I was born quiet. I stopped walking. People float me around like water around a stone. What do you mean, born? Another pause. You were 6. My throat tightened. You stopped sleeping through the night. It continued. You learned how to be afraid. And I learned how to stay awake. Images flooded back, not invented, recovered. Me, lying in bed, staring into darkness. My parents asleep. The house silent and enormous. That familiar comfort. The certainty that something was watching with me. Not over me, with me. You're not a parasite, I said slowly. You're a response. I'm a solution to fear. A choice. The word landed wrong. Choice. That had always been the tension between us. That night, I locked myself in the apartment and turned every light on. Every sound source I could find. Television, radio, fan, sink. The presence thinned, stretched, and strained.
You're hurting us, it's sad.
I need to think, I replied. Alone. You don't know how. That was the cruelest truth yet. I sat on the floor, back against the wall, hands over my ears. Not to block the sound, but to anchor myself. I don't want to erase you, I said, but I won't disappear for you. The silence inside me fractured. For the first time, I felt something like panic, not mine,
If you let go of me,
it said, and its calm was finally gone.
you will feel everything.
I closed my eyes. Then, I'll feel it. The response came quietly, almost tender.
I can't survive that.
The notebook slid across the floor toward me, and untouched it. A new page waited, written slowly, carefully. If I leave, you will be alone. If I stay, you will be safe. Will he leave or stay? Subscribe for part 3 so that you don't miss it out.